So this activity is called Hancuff Social Circles, and it's in the Sharp Solutions toolkit, as that name. I guess the interesting thing about this activity, and the important thing about it at the beginning is you're really running an activity. It's very fun, it's very engaging, it gets people moving around, and it's a bit of a brain teaser, to be honest. It's quite difficult to get out of it. Make sure whatever happens, if you're one of the practitioners delivering this activity, you definitely know how to get out of it, because young people will be very annoyed if you don't show them at the end how to get out of it. So yeah, that's the one important thing about it. The other important thing is, actually, when I put this activity together, and when I run this activity, I do spend 5 or 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes delivering the actual activity and getting people involved, moving around and all the rest of it, and trying to get out of the handcuffs. But I guess the main objective for the activity is actually discussion at the end, and actually for you to start discussing social circles and how difficult it may be to get in or out of social circles. And I guess that's the main part of the activity, is very much about that discussion. Just like when we sing. Cheers. Hold down the rope. Hold the edge of the rope. Let's hold it. That's it.
No too tight, Gary.
Yes! Put that on the ground now. Put it on the ground. Put it on the ground. Cheers. Okay. I'm going to give you a piece of cord now, and what you're going to do is you're going to put one piece of that cord on one wrist like that. Yeah? Then, wait a second. Then what you're going to do is you're going to link yourself into this rope like this. Link it in like that. And then you're going to put the other bit on the other wrist like that. So you're connected to it in some sort of way. Once you're connected, I want you to stay in silence and listen to the instructions, because you need to listen to the instructions, because it's very, very, very strict instructions. So guys, just take a wee seat and listen up. This is really important. Out of all the activities that we've done this morning, this is the one with the most rules. I've got a piece of cord which I've given you. You're going to link yourself into the circle, which everyone's done. Whatever you do, you're not allowed to undo this knot. That's definite. You're not allowed to undo this knot. Whatever you do, you're not allowed to undo these knots. And whatever you do, you're not allowed to take them off your wrists. Whatever you do, you're not allowed to do
Caitlin, since you just took it off her wrist.
I got you.
Now, I'll tell you just quickly, guys, that's basically the only rules. Now, if for any reason you had a knife in your pocket, I'm not saying you do, but if for any reason you did have a knife in your pocket, you're not allowed to bring that knife out and cut the rope. You're also not allowed to bring a lighter out. If you had a lighter in your pocket, you're not allowed to bring it out and burn the rope. Alright? So basically what I'm saying here is, all you need to do in the next 11 minutes and 2 seconds is get out of this. Wait a second, take a seat, take a seat. I'm not finished. Guys, listen. Listen on, guys. All you need to do is get out of this circle, alright? You've got 11 minutes and 2 seconds to do it. Just listen. You say, guys, you need focus. You need focus. If you manage to get out of this circle, guys, you have to come over here, speak to me, and I'll go get you a nice drink. If you manage to get out and you come over here and I go and get you a drink, brilliant. Now the thing is, the people that do get out, if you manage to get out, you're allowed to get a drink, but the group can also convince these people to come back in and help. Do you understand? So it's like they can come back in and help you. You still get your drink initially. If they come back in to help, they can get caught back in the circle if the time lapses. On your mark, set, go.
Wings came out of my wrist.
Then I'm in there. Wait.
I'm going to hold this here. Can everyone see this? I'm going to take this piece of cord here, and I'm going to put it from the back of my left hand through the loop, pull it through. Oh, wait a second. Take it again. Take this piece of cord, put it back of my left hand, pull it through, pull my hand over, and then just loop it around. I've not taken anything off so far. This is the interesting part of this activity. To me, right, I've just created, by doing that activity, something called a social circle. Can you tell me what you think a social circle is?
When we all communicate.
When everybody works together.
Well, it could be people working together, talking to each other. A social circle to me is basically, do you guys hang out with each other in the streets? Are you best pals? Am I right in saying that? Aye? You're all good pals, you hang out in the same area, in the same street. Okay, so I would say, guys, guys, I would say that you guys are a social circle. So I hang out with my pals and I go to a pub with them on a Friday night. You hang out with your pals and you do whatever you do with them on a Friday, Saturday. Sorry? Down the docks, you hang out down the docks. In that old house down the docks, you hang out in there. I've just told you that you're a social circle. Okay? Basically a social circle means your pals you hang out with. Alright? And if I was to show you this social circle here, see this circle here, if I was to say that my name is John and I'm 13 years old, alright? And if I was to say that I have never ever drank booze before, and I have never ever smoked cigarettes before, and I have never had sex before, and I've never carried a knife, and I'm 13, right? Now imagine this social circle here was you guys. It's all your pals, yeah, it's all your mates are hanging out with. Now imagine I was 13 and I was called John, and I somehow managed to hang out with you guys one night. Just somehow I managed to hang out with you guys one night. And I came and hung out in your social circle on a Friday night, Saturday night. How long do you think it would be until I either took drugs, drank booze, or smoked fags? If I'd never done it before.
Couple of hours. It wasn't really, because I
What,
was
a minute?
back home your sandwich never done.
Back in the day, that's me back in the
No, but if you think about it, he might have been like,
No, Lisa, what are you saying? What were you saying there, Lee?
I was the exact same as that until I went down there.
So you
You've drank once. Come on.
No, right,
You've done it once with
but
us.
there, how long did it take me to drink?
About
That's what he's trying to say.
billion
Because
years.
you make the right choices, you've got positive influence, that's the difference.
Exactly.
But that's the same.
Try to say we're all bad.
I'll say,
Yeah,
so
you
can I
got
just-
missing camera?
guys, can I just say quickly, if I was 13 and I was a boy, and actually I was quite susceptible to things like taking drink and drugs and stuff, but I hadn't done it before, and I was like one of you guys, imagine when you did it for the first time, and you joined a social circle with your pals, you hung out, how long do you think it would be until you started smoking, have a wee try of a fag?
I don't know if I
James said a couple of hours, actually it might be a couple of hours or it might be a week, but it'd probably be quite quickly, unless you're a very strong-minded person like Lee, who sounds like she took her 8 months to have a wee drink, she doesn't drink that often. So it sounds quite good, but there's not many people like you, Lee, to be honest with you. Alright, so that's a very positive thing.
Will you set that in there?
The other interesting thing is, in this social circle of people, do they have sex?
What?
So basically what we're saying is, in your pals, do some of you have sex?
Some
Some of you
lovely
do.
boy.
Yeah, some of you have sex. What I'd also say is, in this social circle of people, some of you carry knives, and you have carried knives in the past. So am I right in saying, girls, can you just listen to me saying, am I right in saying, in this social circle, people do the same stuff? They might drink, they might take drugs, they might carry knives, they might gang fight, they might hang out down the docks. They might hang out in the old house. Actually, after 12 o'clock at night, only half of them will be in bed, because the other half are off their heads somewhere. How easy is it, do you think, if you're in this social circle, and I'm going to tie it up, how easy do you think it is to leave this social circle, not hang out with these guys anymore?
Is it easy?
What you saying?
How easy do you think it is to leave this social circle of your pals and not hang out with them anymore?
Easy. Done before.
Where would you hang out?
Played football.
Not I.
Guys, what about you guys over here? Is it easy not to hang out with your pals?
No.
Do you normally hang out with your pals most nights? So basically what we're saying is it's not easy to leave your social circle of pals, is it?
No, it's easy.
It is easy. How is it easy? You just don't go near them. You walk away. And what do you do with your life then if you don't hang out with your pals? Go home. But I'm talking about for like 6 months or a year or 2 years. You don't see your pals. It's impossible. Yeah. Can I just say quickly, guys? If you think about this social circle of people, I just gave you an activity 2 seconds ago. Am I right in saying I just gave you an activity 2 seconds ago? And I gave you something that was quite difficult to get out of. And the only way that you got out of it is because Julie showed you. I know that for a fact because I watched what happened. Now, if Julie hadn't come into your social circle and she hadn't shown you how to get out, you guys would all be tied in right now. I know for a fact you would be. Sorry? Aye, 11 minutes, 2 seconds. But I guess what I'm saying is, you would still be tied into that social circle of people. What I'm trying to prove with this activity, guys, is basically what happens is, if you're involved in a social circle, be it negative or positive in life, it's very difficult sometimes if you're heavily involved in it, which these guys here definitely are. It's very difficult for you to leave that social circle and not do what they're doing. So for example, if I said, let's go get some buckfast tonight and go get some nice weed, and you want to smoke it, would you turn around and say, aye, let's do it?
Aye.
And would any of you turn around and say, no, I'm not doing that?
Aye, I would, because I'm not well for it.
Aye. So if you're better though, would you say no?
Huh?
If you were better, would you say no? You would say no. You would say aye. So if I had a bag of half ounce of nice skunk and I had a couple of cold bottles of Buckfast and I had one warm for later on when I'm a bit cold, what would you say to it? I had Mad Dog. What would you say to it? You say up for it?
No, I'd rather sit there all the time so I can just get rolled up, man.
No, I'd rather sit there bottle of wine, man.
Right. Okay.
From my experience, the best thing to do towards the end of that activity, once it finishes, once you actually finish moving around and you've shown your young people how to get out of the problem, is to actually take all the pieces of cord off the young people as quickly as possible, because they end up just messing around with them. And as you can see from the video and from what I discussed, the young people didn't quite get it. They didn't quite get what the discussion was about and what we were trying to raise. And as you see towards the end, I was really trying to influence the young people to start thinking properly about what we're talking about. And I had to take it as far as talking about the weed, talking about the buckfast, really getting them to think about how difficult it is for them to leave a social circle that they're heavily involved in. And if they're involved in a gang, if they are involved in drugs and alcohol and all the rest of it, it's very, very difficult for them to leave. And I guess that's the point I want to get to. And I probably would spend a good 45 minutes or so on that activity, 10 or 15 minutes on the actual physical, practical side of the activity first, and then a lot longer discussing it towards the end. And I wouldn't leave it just at that. That would be a piece of ongoing work that I'd be discussing probably over the next few weeks or few months, depending on how long you've got the opportunity to work with these people, these young people. It's not something I would run in one day and then leave it at that. It's definitely something that I would take the issues that have been raised and discuss further later on when working with these young people.